Thank you, Mayor Seiler. The Historical Commission and Museum moved into its new headquarters here in the newly rehabilitated historic Westside Grade School in September 2009. It was another September in 1923 when this elementary school, the second built in Fort Lauderdale, by the Fort Lauderdale district specifically, was open for business. Here to give a brief history of the building is Broward County historian Helen Landers. Let me ask you, how many people, raise your hand, how many people know Helen Landers?
Yay! We all know her.
She's a teacher.
The main thing is getting up here.
It's so heartwarming today to be here among all of you and to feel the spirit of aliveness among all of you. Even from the governor. You know, I noticed about these men when they were talking, they all said, "Hello, Governor," to begin with. So I have to start over. Hello, Governor. We're glad that you're here. And I know that out among us are people that work every day in the 31 other communities that we have in Broward County. And so for that, I thought it might be good if all of you that are involved in historical societies, whether you're an officer or whether you go there every day and count the number of people that come in and go out or whatever it is, if all of you would just stand and say, "Wonderful." All right, you don't have to say wonderful, just stand up. And to that, I say wonderful. That is great. Now, I want to say just a few things about the West Side Grade School. In the context of the time in which it was built in 1923, this is the only one of the grade schools in Fort Lauderdale that has the word grade in it. There's South Side, there's North Side, but West Side was West Side Grade School. And we can only go back in the minds of those gentlemen who were running the school board at that time and the trustees that ran this district, we could find out why they wanted to put grade there. And it was Mr. Baber that discovered that grade was up there on the wall, and as you come up the sidewalk from West Las Olas Boulevard, you'll see grade up there because it was there all the time, just covered up. So history is always being uncovered. And so as we read, is that true? I thought somebody said amen. The school board, in all of their wisdom at that time, in July, issued a contract to a company called K. Hart for this building of the school for $23,000. Now, I don't want to upset anybody here on the school board, but remember, there was no change orders in that. Between the middle of July and September the 21st, the school was built, and everybody walked in it on the first day of school. Now, what happened on the first day of school? On the first day of school, all the children lined up out there on that sidewalk, 2 by 2. And the teachers came out in front and said, "We're opening school today, and you will march in and we will assign you to your seat. And you will sit in your seat every day until we tell you you can get up." Unless they held their hand up and said, "I want to go." So at that point, they walked into their classrooms, they sat down, they folded their hands in front of them, and they all recited probably the Lord's Prayer. And they also probably read from the Bible, and they sang, not "God Bless America," nor did they sing "America the Beautiful," which we did beautifully this afternoon, but they sang "My Country 'Tis of Thee," because that was a song of that time. And the teachers there, Mrs. Blackburn was the principal. Her husband was the principal at Lauderdale High School, which was in session at that time. This man that had built the school, the architect, Mr. Peterman, had built South Side, and he had built this school, West Side, and he built Dillard School. I mean, he made the plans for them. He didn't build them. Now, I just want to say one or two, are you tired? Okay. One or two more things. After the first day of school, everybody settled down. They had wonderful teachers here. And I know that one of the teachers, the first year with Mrs. Blackburn, there were only 2 teachers. They taught 3 grades apiece. And the other teacher was Miss Gertrude Boyd. Now, Gertrude Boyd's aunt is in the audience. Stand up, Janine. one of, I think, 16 children of the Boyd family. If I made a mistake, Jean, don't correct me. And her grandfather was one of the original signers of the City of Fort Lauderdale's incorporation papers. So we go back here with all these people doing those things. At the same time, in the next year, there were people that were teaching here by the name of Helen Marr Friday. And Helen Marr only taught 1 year. And then she said, I'll never teach another year. And she married a man by the name of Lewis Moore, who later became the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. And so we have all these connections from this school that you can find that are all over here and also expand out into the county. So the school prospered. And we have found out during the years that many children went here to school, and no matter who I talked to or whom I talked to, they have always said to me, we had the best time there and the best teachers. And I did talk to a man the other day by the name of Mr. Squires, who said he was paddled. But he said Mrs. Dicta Miller was good and didn't make it too hard on him. And we did have paddling back in those days. So at the end of all that time, in 1963, with the population of Fort Lauderdale growing and the county growing out beyond that, they decided that there wasn't enough students in this area to continue to have West Side School. And so the end of 1962, the school closed. The children spent the whole last semester writing a play about the school, acting it out, doing the maypole dance, all the things that they had done. Now I know, this is my closing words, I know that there are people here in this room under this cover, that went to West Side grade school. And how about you all standing up? If nobody stands up, I'm going to stand up.
Well done. Thank you, Helen. That was educational and entertaining as usual. Just one aside, Helen mentioned all the students and the teachers. When you go in and tour and go to the exhibit that we have on Sailboat Bend, you'll see a computer monitor showing a slideshow. That's all students and teachers that went to school or taught here in the early years of the school. So make sure you pay attention to that. Okay, now we get to cut the ribbon. So, we'd like to ask the governor, the county commissioners who are present, Mayor Seiler, Phil Socanto of the Historical Commission, and Will Law from Art Space to come on up.
Okay, Mayor, you ready to do this? Why don't we do it on 3? All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Cut.
There it is.